When you read, thanks Mpuetu, I'm on top of this, what does it suggest to you? What does it suggest to you? What do you think the CFO is saying there?
As I indicated, I'm not privy to their discussion. Don't want to make assumptions, SC.
If you were to read this, if you were to have read it, what would you think the CFO was saying? How do you understand, thanks Mpuetu, I'm on top of this?
I don't want to comment on that.
No, Deputy Chief. You can think. All the question requires of you is your understanding of this response. Even assuming that you did not think of it at any other stage, or maybe even if you were to say, no, I had never had sight of this before, but as you read it now, what do you think it means? Surely you can think, and I don't mean this as an insult, but it's just that I don't understand your response, Deputy Chief. What do you think this means as you're looking at it now?
Much as I indicated, Commissioner, he says I'm on top of this, but I don't want to make assumptions for the CFO.
I'm not asking for assumptions. I'm asking for you to think and tell us, as you read this, what do you think it means? In the context of everything else that you know, that you have said, and even the purpose for which you had forwarded this to Sergeant Kosi, in the context of all that, when you look at this now, what do you think it means in that context?
In the context of what we spoke about, I'm thinking that he's assisting Sergeant Kosi with his request.
Thank you. It was not so difficult after all. Please do not be evasive, Deputy Chief. Yes, Mr. Chaselson.
And that request is to check whether those bidders are compliant, as you've been saying.
That's what Sergeant Kosi indicated to me.
Now, how could the CFO lawfully check whether those bidders were compliant? The CFO wasn't entitled to look at any of the bid documents at this stage. You've accepted that.
I accepted that he can't do that.
So, on the face of it, it's looking like even on the benign version that you want to give to Sergeant Nkosi's request, the CFO and Sergeant Nkosi are agreeing that the CFO will do something that he may not lawfully do.
The CFO is doing what?
He may not lawfully do. He's going to look at the bid documents to see if these bidders were compliant. And he's not allowed to do that. He's admitted he cannot see any of these documents until the first meeting of the BAC.
Yes, the CFO, he might not have access to the document.
So how is he going to give effect to his statement that he's on top of this in a lawful fashion?
I can't answer that, SC.
Would you agree with me that there is no lawful way that the CFO can give effect to that statement at that time?
That's correct.
Let's look at the next chats. A minute later, he writes back to Sergeant Nkosi saying, this is ours, Mfowethu. This is ours. This is the final list, right? What does that suggest to you? And Sergeant Nkosi responds, yes, it's our final list.
I think the CFO explained to say that's how they speak with Sergeant Nkosi. Then he indicated it's ours because that's how they refer to each other.
The CFO gave a bit of an Alice in Wonderland version of the pronouns our and we. Sometimes they mean you, sometimes they mean he, sometimes they mean I, sometimes they mean they. But you're saying that in this case, he meant it in the ordinary sense, which meant him and Sergeant Nkosi.
And that's correct.
So he was saying, he was asking Sergeant Nkosi, is this the list of you and me? And Sergeant Nkosi is saying, yes, it is the list of you and me. Is that correct? Is that how you read it?
He said that's how they refer to each other. It might not be for the CFO, but as I heard him explaining to say, it doesn't refer to yours or they refer to each other as ours.
Yeah, so he's saying that was the list that they wanted.
Sergeant Nkosi wanted. Can't
No,
say
no,
the CFO.
Sergeant Nkosi and the CFO, it's in the plural, ours.
To put it differently, but meaning the same thing. So the CFO is saying here, Sergeant Nkosi, this is your and my list. Do you agree? He means, Sergeant Nkosi, this is your and my list. Do you agree?
I don't agree, Commissioner.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson.
So are we back in the world of CFO pronouns, and that when he says this is ours in Mfowethu, he means this is yours in Mfowethu?
This is,
You see, he said, he asked Sergeant Nkosi, this is ours in Mfowethu, question mark. Are you saying that he's asking there, is this your list, Sergeant Nkosi, as opposed to, will you confirm that this is the list of you and of me?
it might be that he's confirming for him to say he has received it. It's ours as they refer to each other. I mean, as brothers, they are one. So it might be a list of Sergeant Nkosi, but even if he says ours, he might not be referring to him being included on it.
Well, what I want to put to you is that the ordinary meaning of what the CFO said is, this is yours and this is mine, this is ours. That's how one normally understands ours.
I don't agree to it because we sometimes adopt a way of communication with people, how we communicate, refer to each other, a particular set of standards when we communicate. It might not mean what I mean you are suggesting, SC.
And at the time, were you aware that the CFO and Sergeant Nkosi referred to each other in ways that involved strange uses of pronouns like ours, that when they said to each other ours, they didn't mean ours?
That's how they refer to each other, as I know, to say they are one.
You see, if you go back to page 440, you'll see that after this exchange, in chat number 6, Sergeant Nkosi WhatsApped you a screenshot of that exchange. And you'll see that screenshot, which was WhatsApped to you in chat number 6 at 9:46 p.m. That screenshot appears at page 526. And there, you'll see that at the bottom, Sergeant Nkosi, sorry, can we get 526 up? And can you just zoom in at the bottom text that we can read it? Go scroll up a little bit. You'll see, Captain, find below our vehicles for land to be given ku Mfowethu in order priority El Shaddai Security Services, and the response from the CFO is, this is ours Mfowethu, this is the final list, right? And Sergeant Nkosi responds, yes, it's ours, the final list. So at the time, you had seen the screenshot. You accept that? This was sent to you at 9:46 that evening? If we go back to page 440.
Yes.
So what did you understand to be taking place here?
He was just showing me that he's in communication with the CFO.
And that the CFO is going to do what?
He's gonna assist him that we checking these companies.
For compliance.
That's what he indicated to me.
If you go to the top of 441, you'll see that after he sends you that WhatsApp, at 10:30 that night, there's a voice call. And we've checked, that voice call lasted over 2 minutes between you and Sergeant Nkosi. At the top of page 441, chat 1.
Yes.
At 10:30 that night. And you will see there, well, so after he has shown you his exchange with the CFO, he calls you and you speak for over 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. What would you have been speaking about?
I can't recall, SC.
But you've seen now that the CFO is going to do what Sergeant Nkosi wants him to do in relation to this tender, from the screenshot.
Yes.
And you know that on your benign version, what that is that the CFO is going to check for compliance with in relation to that list of 7 companies, the vehicles for land to be given in order of priority.
Yes.
And to do that, he will have to look at the bid documents or the documents that are supposed to be under lock and key at the BEC in order to check for compliance with those 7 companies.
Yes.
But he cannot lawfully do that. He's not supposed to have access to those documents.
Which is impractical for the CFO to do that.
It's not impractical, it's unlawful.
I'm saying it's impractical because I don't think he has the keys for...
So how can he be telling Sergeant Nkosi that he's going to be checking for compliance of those 7 companies?
I'm not sure about it, SC.
He can't lawfully check for compliance with those 7 companies. You'll accept that?
I agree with you that he can't check compliance.
So I want to come back to you in your role as head of internal affairs at Tshwane. You now, on your version, have a situation where the CFO is communicating with Sergeant Nkosi. He's undertaking, on your version, to check for compliance of 7 companies in a pending tender. And you know that he cannot lawfully do that because he cannot lawfully have access to those documents. Did you take this further?
No, SC.
Why not? The CFO is committing to Sergeant Nkosi to do something which is unlawful in relation to a tender at Tshwane, on your version.
Much as I'm saying, I'm not privy of what are they talking, what is it that the CFO might have committed to Sergeant Nkosi.
You know what he's saying. You've seen all of this correspondence, including this communication between the 2 of them, where they're talking about this being a final list and him saying, I'm on top of it. You know that is a fact because that correspondence is shared with you. So you should be able to answer that question. You now have the facts.
Yes,
That list came from you.
it did not come from me, Commissioner Kumar.
Give it to
I
Nkosi.
passed it to
You passed
Nkosi
it
as
on,
he
yes.
requested, yes.
So you know that because You got the list from Nico, you gave it to Nkosi with a clear request that he must give it to the CFO. So you know what's going on.
Much as I indicated to say, I'm not privy to the discussions of Sergeant Nkosi and the CFO. And even if Sergeant Nkosi shows me many things that he speak to this one, he speak to this CFO and so forth. So, and I could not, say either that's doable or whatever the case it might be, what Sergeant Nkosi is saying.
No, but you are privy to their communication. You are, here. One, you pass on lists and you say it's from 482. So you know that.
That's correct,
You give it to
Commissioner.
Nkosi to pass on to 482. So you are privy to that communication. You know that Sergeant Nkosi and your CFO are discussing bidders in a tender process or in a bid process that is still underway. You know that as a fact.
Yes.
And yeah, please, let's accept that we know you know that as a fact, because that's what the correspondence that is being shared here by you and with you tells you. Then you also get to see the communication where the CFO says to Sergeant Nkosi, I'm on top of it, because it's shared with you, right? And then you get to see also, is this our final list from the CFO to Sergeant Nkosi? You see that because it is shared with you. So you are privy to those facts. And so you should be able to answer the question of Mr. Chaskason's question, because on the basis that you are privy to these facts and you are head of the internal unit, whatever it's called, you should be able to act. You have the facts to act.
That's correct, Commissioner. I was privy to the information, but I did not see it the way you are putting it to say it. I could have investigated this matter.
Mr. Chaskason?
Can we go to your statement at page 11, file 1, page 11? And there you were responding to a question at paragraph 56 at the foot of the page, which you frame as follows: reasons for me to discuss issues / matters relating to procurement of the City of Tshwane and or the TMPD, particularly in relation to TMPD 2, 1, and 3, with Sergeant Nkosi. Also provide reasons for providing Sergeant Nkosi with the names of companies or bidders for the City of Tshwane and or Tshwane Metropolitan Police Department.
It's page?
Page 11 of file 1.
Okay.
And your answer is, I haven't discussed matters relating to procurement of the City of Tshwane with Sergeant Nkosi. I merely provided him with administrative documents as he requested. See paragraph 50. The said materials are public documents. Do you stand by that answer, that you didn't discuss matters relating to procurement with Sergeant Nkosi? Because it seems that, at least in relation to what we've just been looking at, you have exchanged many texts with Sergeant Nkosi in relation to matters of procurement.
That's correct, SC. I did not discuss matters that relate to procurement.
So how do you characterize what's happened here, where we've seen a constant back and forth in relation to messages concerning TMPD 1, and on your version, although the messages say one thing, you've had lots of calls with Sergeant Nkosi where he's explained that he doesn't want to rig the tender in favor of Ngapesheya and El Shaddai. He actually just wants you to check for compliance of those two companies and to check for compliance of other companies that were assisted by NICO.
Yes, as I indicated, I was just transmitting the names as requested by Sergeant Nkosi. I did not discuss any procurement matter with him.
So you didn't understand this question relating to matters relating to procurement to include your exchanges with Sergeant Nkosi concerning which companies NICO had assisted on the bid, which companies were compliant, which companies weren't compliant. You didn't understand it to fall within the ambit of the question.
When it says procurement matters, it's matters either that relates to, issues, of ensuring that I help me with the document compilation, also, discussing pricings and so forth, or what transpired within the bid evaluation committee, because those matters are confidential and so forth.
Well, if you, I'm struggling with that answer because it does seem to me that everything we've been looking at would be a matter relating to procurement of the city of Tshwane, particularly in relation to TMPD1. Which bids are compliant in relation to TMPD1 must surely be a matter relating to procurement of the city of Tshwane in relation to TMPD1.
It was only me sharing what he requested, the names of bidders. I did not have any discussion with regard to any procurement matter.
No, you did, because you also gave him a list from NICO that NICO said was a mandate that had been given to the chair of the BEC. You recall that?
I agree with you much as I'm saying those were only, names of bidders that he requested, I forwarded. I did not discuss with him any procurement matter.
Well, is it not a procurement matter if what you're sending to him is a message saying that NICO tells me he's given a mandate to the chair of the BEC to rig the tender in favor of these 7 companies? Is that not a matter relating to procurement?
It's not a procurement matter, SC.
What is it then? How would you describe it?
I'll describe it as an allegation that one is indicating and the names of bidders. You might have found them, on their website and so forth, and indicated that.
But this is not a random selection of bidders pulled off the website. It's a list of 7 bidders specifically identified as by NICO as the 7 bidders he has mandated Victor to rig the tender in favor of.
And there are bidders who had submitted bids in respect of this tender. So it's not random bidders. Please respond to the question by Mr. Chaskalsi.
It's not a discussion on procurement matters, commissioners.
It is a discussion on procurement matter. There's an undergoing procurement tender process or evaluation process that's happening. And Victor is the chairperson of the BEC, and these companies are participating in that tender. It is a procurement matter.
I stand by what I indicated, commissioners, that it's not a procurement matter to.
Why do you
get
say
names.
that? Why do you say that, Deputy Chief? Why do you say it's not a procurement matter? Sorry.
Why I say that, Commissioner, because the bid documents if I was discussing either bid document, the question of the specifications, the scope and so forth, that would be procurement matters that I'm discussing with him.
Isn't the entire process starting from the specification through to the preparation of the tender document itself, through to the publication of the tender, the submission of the bids, the bid evaluation? Well, we hear from Tswane that they have something they call probity. So through the probity process, through the evaluation, through to the recommendation to the municipal manager in this instance, and the final award, isn't all of that a procurement process?
That's correct, Commissioner, that is a procurement process.
Yes. Then something that relates to any stage during that process would be something relating to the procurement process. Here, for example, it's about names being forwarded, or at least required to be forwarded, to the CFO about this same process that I've sketched from the beginning all the way to the end. And the CFO responds after those bidders, the names of those bidders have been given to him, and he responds. And these are bidders, they are part of the process in the sense that their bids are to be evaluated and eventually considered if they have been referred to the later stage, and to be evaluated by the bid adjudication, and to be adjudicated by the bid adjudication committee if they have gone to that stage. All of that surely is part of the procurement process, Deputy Chief.
I don't agree, Commissioner, because bid register get loaded on a website, it becomes public, so names of bidders does not amount to a procurement process.
This was not just about the names. It was not just about the names. It was about these are our bidders, basically. I'm paraphrasing. And that's the upshot of it all. These are is this our list? Yes, it is our list, Mfowethu. Final list, not just any list, our final list. Final list in what process? Final list in the procurement process.
But also let me add that on your version, check that they are compliant.
Compliant with what? Compliant with the requirements for this particular tender. So you cannot escape that. You cannot escape that.
With due respect, Commissioners, I still don't agree that it's a procurement
That's
process.
because you don't want to agree. Yes, Mr. Shaskelson.
Can we go down to page 444? We're now on the...
Which file?
file 4. We're now approximately 2 weeks later. It's the 13th of April. And in chat number 3, you sent to Sergeant Nkosi at 6:03 p.m. a list of 5 issues, followed by an explanation at 6:04. So your 6:03 message says lease agreement for both company and director for rates and taxes. Interpretation of PI Act. 3 years financials must be done by independent auditor and signed or certification that they've been audited. 4, lease agreement of vehicles. The document submitted of Avis is a quotation. We need an agreement with photos of vehicles, including a 5-ton truck. 5, public liability insurance for 10 million. And then at 6:04, you say, afternoon, Captain, I trust you are well and your family. Please push Becky to submit the above documents. What was this about?
As it was indicated by Sergeant Nkosi to say they were dealing with a tender in Mpumalanga.
Yes, Sergeant Corsi said that it was for the Matthews Pausa municipality, but no such municipality exists. In fact, Matthews Pausa sent me a message to say there's no municipality named after me. Which municipality do you say it was?
I don't know, SC.
You say this is a different tender. It's not your tender. It's not the TMPD tender.
That's what I indicate, SC.
Why were you getting involved in this process?
Much as I indicated, I referred, Sergeant Nkosi to Nico, and Nico will usually send me, messages to either forward to Sergeant Nkosi. You'll still get the same of 4, 5, 6, the message that I also sent around May or so. So he assisted them with different, documents, tender documents.
Can I just say my difficulty with this, you being the one that talks to Nico, is you were asked much earlier, have you referred other people to Nico to assist them with their tender documents? You said, no, I know him from when I was in the army and I came back and I was in the taxi business, so I really don't refer people to him. You refer Sergeant Nkosi. In fact, your evidence is you said to Sergeant Nkosi, tell Begi to speak to this person. If that is so, why is Nico talking to you or to Sergeant Nkosi through you and the other way around, if in fact you had absolutely no involvement other than to say to Sergeant Nkosi, here's the person that you should get Begi to talk to? Why are you the one that's the conduit between them?
I think, as I indicated, to say it's a matter either of trust, to say maybe if they've spoken to me, Sergeant Nkosi, Nico will do things very quick for them. And same applies with Nico. It's a thing of saying if he send me to inform, Fana, Sergeant Nkosi will be able to indicate to me to say, Sergeant Nkosi will be able to push Begi to ensure that, these things are in order.
Well, this is just a list. You don't have any interest in this.
No.
I take it you're going to say that. You have absolutely no interest in this.
No, I don't.
Okay. So why would you have an interest in pushing Begi and Nkosi to do this, to provide this information if it's not about Tshwane and you have absolutely no interest in it? Why would any one of them think you will help push?
I indicated, Commissioner, that I took interest on Sergeant Nkosi on the early years while he was still at a primary school. So there are people you have compassion on.
No, this is not Sergeant Nkosi's tender. You're telling us it's Begi's tender. And that's what you say, please push Begi in this. So
I was
Begi's
telling
not your
Sergeant
friend.
Nkosi. I was telling Sergeant Nkosi to push Begi.
Yes, I'm saying, why do you have an interest in Begi's business with another municipality? If this is not Tshwane, and it's another non-existent Matthews Posa municipality, which has absolutely nothing to do with you. Begi is not the one you've referred to as the one you took an interest in. Why would they be so keen for you to be the one that pushes Begi to submit?
Commissioner, I think there are people you will have compassion on, of which you will adopt them. The manner in which, they grew up and so forth, it touched you such that you adopt them.